Could the most controversial substances of the 20th century actually be the key to solving America's worsening mental health crisis? What was once viewed as the hallmark of counterculture rebellion is now being discussed in the highest levels of government as a potential miracle cure for trauma and depression. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in US politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss out on these critical updates. Representative Jack Bergman, a Republican representing Michigan, has just fired a massive warning shot to the status quo. Speaking at a major event hosted by The Hill, the co-founder and co-chair of the Congressional Psychedelics Advancing Therapies Caucus, or PATH, declared that the time is now for a major breakthrough. He isn't just speaking for himself, he is looking toward the executive branch. Bergman specifically pointed to President Trump's recent interest in the field as the green light needed to push these therapies into the mainstream. For years, the use of substances like psilocybin and MDMA in clinical settings was a third-rail issue, something no serious politician would touch without risking their career. But the data coming out of veteran health programs and clinical trials has become impossible to ignore. We are looking at a landscape where traditional pharmaceuticals are failing, and the suicide rate among our veterans remains a national tragedy. Bergman and his bipartisan allies believe that these psychedelic-assisted therapies could provide a lifeline for those suffering from PTSD and severe treatment-resistant depression. Now, let's analyze what this actually means. If President Trump provides the political cover for this shift, we could see a complete reversal of decades of federal drug policy. This isn't just about medicine, it's about shifting the narrative of who gets to be a hero and who gets to define wellness in America. If the Trump administration leans into this, it creates a fascinating friction point with more traditionalist wings of the GOP. On one hand, you have the focus on veteran outcomes and personal agency. On the other, you have the historical war on drugs baggage that has defined conservative policy for half a century. The consequences of this move go far beyond the doctor's office. If these therapies are legalized and regulated, we are talking about a massive new sector in the healthcare industry. It changes the economic footprint of mental health and challenges the power of the pharmaceutical giants that have profited for decades from standard SSRIs and antipsychotics. Who stands to benefit? Who stands to lose? And most importantly, can this research move fast enough to save lives before the political window closes? There is also the matter of bipartisan cooperation. In an era of record-breaking gridlock, the PATH caucus is one of the few places where Democrats and Republicans are actually sitting at the same table. If they can secure a win here, it could serve as a blueprint for how to handle other controversial health topics in the future. However, we have to look at the optics. When you take a substance that was criminalized by the establishment and bring it into the halls of power, there will be pushback. Religious groups, law enforcement advocates, and old-school drug war proponents are likely already preparing their response. The political calculus is clear. By linking this to the mental health of our veterans, Representative Bergman is attempting to make this a must-pass issue. It is very hard to argue against a veteran having access to a life-saving treatment, no matter how controversial the source might be. But the question remains, is the bureaucracy in Washington, specifically the FDA and the DEA, prepared to adapt as quickly as these politicians are promising? We have seen the time is now rhetoric before, but rarely does it involve such a radical departure from the norm. So, what do you think about this? Do you believe that psychedelic research is the future of mental health treatment, or do you think this is a dangerous path for the government to take? Is this a genuine solution for our veterans, or is it a political stunt that will eventually crash and burn? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to hear your perspective on this rapidly evolving situation. We are witnessing a fascinating pivot in how our leaders view the intersection of medicine, morality, and government power. As we keep a close watch on the developments coming out of the PATH caucus and the White House, we will continue to bring you the facts behind the headlines. Stay tuned, keep questioning, and keep watching. This story is far from over.